Mr. Schock is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the witnesses. Boy, the American people are being led to believe you guys are big muscles of political strength that are being subsidized by taxpayers and have some unfair advantage over perhaps those who share a different belief than you. So, for the record, perhaps these Tea Party groups might share Ms. Belson, Ms. Kenney, and Ms. Gertson. Could you tell us roughly what your annual budget is?
Sure. Let's see. In 2010, our budget was $2,453.
$2,453 for the entire year?
Yes.
Okay.
2011, it was $3,371.
It's a 50% increase.
And in 2012, we did have a grant from Tea Party Patriots that enabled us to promote our organization, so we did have approximately $9,000 that year.
Wow, $9,000. Okay, Ms. Kenney.
Forgive me for laughing. Our annual budget is in the negative.
Uh-oh. Are you a Democratic organization?
The first year, we had a minus $1,300. The second year, I don't remember. Those were from legal fees to actually begin the process of filing for a 501c4 and other types of activities.
So basically, the harassment and illegal questions that you were asked caused your organization to deficit spend to try and defend its constitutional right and equal protection under the law?
Yes, because it also dried up our ability to have people participate in a structure where they could donate.
Thank you. Ms. Gersten, how about your budget?
Well, I don't have the exact numbers, but I can tell you that we have less than $5,000 at the end of each month, roughly. One year when we took a big bus trip to Washington, we had $18,000 at one time in the bank, but as soon as we paid off the bus, that all went down. But we usually run under $5,000.
So roughly to say it's never been over $50,000.
Oh, goodness, no.
So you can understand the outrage by members of this committee for the apparent double standard that members on this committee seem to have for their frustration, outrage, opposition to groups who seek 501c4 and 501c3 status, who may be on the opposite side of your issues, and who we know have organized and raised far more sums than all of you collectively. One group in particular we know about is Organizing for Action, a group organized by the President's own men, political advisors, which to date we know has raised in excess of millions of dollars. And I'm just going to read on their website what they say their mission is. Organizing for Action is a nonprofit organization established to support President Obama in achieving enactment of his national agenda. Now, I would humbly ask my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, is that political? And why would an organization called Organizing for Action...
Would the gentleman yield?
No, I will not.
Would you ask the question for them?
Mr. Neal, go ahead.
The gentleman from Illinois has the time.
Go ahead.
Are those names disclosed?
Are what names?
The names to the President's committee? Are the contributors disclosed?
I'm not aware whether they are.
Let me be on record as saying those names should be disclosed.
Okay, but we're not having a debate about whether or not we agree with Citizens United. We're not having a debate about whether or not we want to change 501c3 or change 501c4 processes. I would submit to you that if that is your goal, perhaps introduce legislation to do so. The problem is that this IRS agency has discriminated against people based on their political views.
All right, I have to...
And for anyone to defend
Regular
this bureaucracy from discriminating
Will the
against
gentleman
people...
suspend? I will have to ask our guests in the committee to refrain from applause and other displays of emotion or attention. We need to keep decorum in the committee, so I would respectfully ask that our members refrain from clapping and cheering.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
May proceed.
For anyone to suggest that these individuals' rights should be limited more so than others simply because of their political beliefs is nothing more than discrimination. There would be clarity if this was an issue of white versus black, of Jews versus Christians, but because it's conservative versus liberal, there seems to be some questions, some clouds, some lack of clarity. And rather than work united in a bipartisan way to root out the very cancer that my colleague, Mr. Rangel, described, we're simply trying to chop off the head of the patient, remove the acting commissioner, and say all is well. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need to identify the cancer, and this needs to be removed from this organization. I yield back.
Mr. Paulson is recognized.